In this video, we'll discuss how you can define lookup fields in the FormView control in a similar way to the way you define lookups in the list view control. So you can see over here we have a list control over here that's based on the Northwind order details table, and inside that table there's a field called product ID, but you could see that in the list over here we are also displaying the product name for the corresponding product ID, and we've done that by defining a lookup for this field. So when you define a lookup, you can either specify that the lookup is based on data in another list or on a JavaScript function. So in this case you can see we have another list over here which is from the Northwind product table, and what this list has is for each product ID it has the corresponding product name. So we're going to be using this list over here as the source of the lookup data for the list and also for the form view. So you can see here in the form view the product ID over here is being displayed not as product number 72, but we're actually displaying the name of the product. And then when we click on the field to edit it, the list control editor that comes up is also displaying the product name, not the product ID. But if I go ahead there and make a selection and then hit the save button, you can see that basically it's the product ID that gets updated over there. So basically let's go take a look now at how this lookup was defined both in the form view control and also in the list control. So first we'll go to the list itself. So the data source for the lookup data is this products list over here, which is getting data from the Northwind product table, and it's retrieving the product ID and product name field. Then if we go over to the list itself, we can see that in list properties we've specified that there's a lookup and that the lookup is called product name. It's an arbitrary name, and that the lookup is being done as a lookup against a list as opposed to JavaScript function, and then we're looking the data up in a list called products. The key field is product ID and the return field is product ID. Sorry, the key field in the list is product ID, and the value that we're using to look up is the product ID field in the list. So now when we go to the list layout, we can choose this virtual column over here, which is the product name. So that's how we basically got the product name field into the list over here. So that was done over there. But now when we go to our form view control, let's go now to our form view control, we can see that in the form layout we specified that we want the product ID field because that's the available field. So the available field here is product ID. There is no product name field as an available field. But in the fields column over here you can see we've checked the has lookup property, and then we've specified that the lookup type is a list, that the name of the list we're looking up in is the products list, the key field is product ID, and the return field is product name. And having done that, that's all we need to do. So now when the form is rendered, instead of showing the product ID over here, we show the product name, but when we tap on this field to edit it, the value that is passed to the editor is the product ID. So this video has shown how you can use lookups in a form view control to display resolved values for ID values. Thanks very much for watching.